Hi, everyone, and welcome to our exciting call today. And our very, very special guest is Brett Harward, and some of you might have met him at Rush Convention. But we are so excited to have him on this call. He's got such an interesting background as a professional speaker, and he specializes in being a peak performance coach to thousands. And he transforms people inside and out with amazing results. His last company, he sold to a Fortune 300 company. Now, Brett currently conducts speaking and training and shares the stage with some greats like Mark Victor Hansen, Lisa Nichols, Les Brown, and he has a book that obviously I need to get, and it's called The 5 Laws That Determine All of Life's Outcomes, and it was published by Franklin Covey. Now, what's interesting is that he has spent the last 10 years studying behaviors of people and organizations and what separates the average person from the super successful. So if you're listening or on our live webinar, you are obviously part of the above average and on track to be super successful. And his work really revolves around the psychology of success to help us all become better at what we do. And it's interesting that this app he created through his company called Bite Size aligns behavior with correct principles. So your future is obviously predetermined if you embrace all of this. So without further ado, let's turn it over to Brett Harward. Over to you, Brett.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay? Hello?
Just great.
Great. Okay, good. Good. Just want to make sure the audio is working. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna just go through some concepts first of all, and we're gonna spend most of the time today just diving right into the app because I'm really excited to share with you how to use the app. Here's the 2 big opportunities that I see with this app and with behavior change in your industry. So the first big opportunity is to help you all habitualize product consumption, which means when you sell the products to someone, to take them all the way through to where they use it on a regular basis, and at the end of the month you create empty bottles. So that's the first big opportunity. So we've got some prospect and customer tracks that will help you do that. The second is the mass duplication of professional sales and training approach. Many of the leaders in your industry, when it all boils down, the thought that I like the most is that being successful at XANGO and in network marketing and in a lot of non-network marketing industries, it really comes down to one simple thing, and that is to teach us a small set of skills to a large number of people and have them apply them and use them consistently. And that kind of is the essence of what the app is designed to do, is to take this big, confusing, all the different things that you can do and make it so that at least the basics that almost every person that runs across XANGO can learn the basic skills they need to be successful and then go out and duplicate those easily. So that's kind of the focus. Here's a couple of just thoughts on psychology. When you can count on basic human behavior to statistically override everything else in the long run. What that means to me is that at the end of the day, if you make something confusing, you can count on that a lot of people aren't going to do it. I mean, you can just count it. It doesn't matter how often you teach it. And so making things so they're simple and that there's just a really easy logical progression is the key to getting large numbers of people to have success. And the second concept that kind of goes along with that, since people's behavior can be predicted, it can also be managed and leveraged. You just can't ignore basic human behavior. So I'll give you an example. If I give someone, when I'm in the middle of something and I'm talking to someone right then, if I'm able to take action right now while I'm talking to them and be able to kind of complete the process when I'm with them, the likelihood of doing that goes up by about 10 times versus if I have to talk to someone, and then I have to remember about it and go back to my back office, and I have to decide what things I want to do and what order I want to do them in and do all that. Those are great tools for one-offs, but to do that consistently across broad numbers of people, it almost has to get boiled down to a point where you talk to the person, you say, can I send you some stuff? And they say yes, and I say, great, give me your contact information. I put it in, and then I'm done. And then I can move on to the next person, and I've got something in the background that's remembering things for me and doing a lot of the heavy lifting for me. And that's what this app is designed to do. Here's the traditional approach of teaching training, and I want to just give you a couple of highlights of some ways that, just some psychology things and share with you some ideas about, here's the traditional approaches that people are using that don't work really well. And then I'm going to share with you one that works that's super simple, and it will make sense to you as we're going through it. The traditional approach is you get people into large groups, you get them in for as much time as you can spend. You teach them all the information you can teach them. You dump as much information as possible. You give them lots of choices. The traditional thinking is you give lots of people choices, and that choices are good things. I'll share with you as we're going through the app some statistics about that. The current thinking is the more data is better. If I knew what was going on and what percentages are doing this and what the truth is that the average person doesn't do well with data. So they do better by just saying, just do this behavior. Just go and have this conversation with people. If they have to analyze data, most people, our brains are generally lazy. We don't like making lots of decisions and having to figure things out. The less we have to figure out, the better. And then making sure that there's a lot of support. So as you allocate your time and your energy to supporting people on the back end at key times, instead of doing all of the follow-up and the churning activities that don't really create a lot of value for people, you'll have a lot more success. So at the end of the day, one of the things that is counterintuitive in this app is most of the apps out there are designed to have you do way less work. And what I'm going to tell you today is it's not about doing less work. It's about doing focused, concentrated work and making sure your work is high-value work. And so a lot of the minutia, a lot of the small things that just reminding people, keeping people updated, that if you're doing a great job, you will spend a lot of time on. The app is designed to just do that part for you. So you're spending face time with people and doing the human element that can't be replicated with computers. Okay, so we want to get you out of trying to be a computer operator and become just a networker. So let's talk about what works. The first one, I'm going to put all these on here. I'm just going to go through it. So 6 principles of what works, and this is as you're using the app and as you're just dealing with people. Here's 6 principles that will help you help more people create behavior change. Okay, whether it's consuming the products, whether it's becoming a distributor with XANGO. So the first one, I'm going to start on the far left-hand side, and this is probably the key of all of them. The first one is to lower expectations, and what that means is this: is rather than expect people to just take information and be perfect with it, lower your expectations of people. Know that they're going to struggle, they're going to forget, they're going to be afraid of things, and so without planning on support, without planning on people, when you plan on people just being rock stars out of the gate, and then what happens is they get set up to disappoint you. And then as you're disappointed, you spend less time. Just know that people have frailties. They have things they don't do well. And as you lower your expectations, you'll start to account for those, and you'll do a better job of helping people through the troughs, through the hard parts of making behavior change. The second thing is reduce choices. You're better off to not give choices than to give choices. So especially when someone is in the first stages of doing something new, that's a behavior change. A small example of that, I worked with a company that they were selling this diet program. It was actually a plastic surgeon, and he had this 30-day regimen that he would put people through that had exercise and meal plans and diets. And as I read through it, and he was struggling because he's like, man, I can't believe these people can't do this plan. And as I looked at his plan, it was like, today you can do this workout session, or you can do this other workout session. For dinner, you can have fish or you can have chicken, and here's the 2 recipes. And I said, man, you got too many choices. That's your problem. If you actually just said, today we're doing this workout and we're having fish, and we don't care whether you like fish or not. If you want to be successful, if you want to get the results from this plan, today we're eating fish. And by reducing the choices, he got a much, much higher participation rate, because we just don't like making lots of choices, especially when we're learning something new. Down the road, as they learn different skills, they can start making choices as to which way they want to do something. But when you first start out, you're way better off just saying, do this at this time, and as you make it easy for them, as you reduce choices, it actually just makes it easy for people to do it. Support the current step. So don't get ahead of yourself. That's the third thing. Pick the one thing you want someone to do today, and reinforce that and help them get that one thing done. And it's like I have, so on my bio, this is something that shocks people. So I have it's a mixed family, but I have 13 kids, and it's interesting because my youngest kid, if I just tell them, hey, you need to go clean your room and make it spotless, most of them they're not capable of that. They get in and they have fits, and they just sit in their room in this depressed state because they look around. It's like, I can't clean this. There's way too much stuff to do. And when I start off, and when I say, okay, the first thing right now, what I want you to do is to pick up all the clothes from the floor and fold the clothes and put them back in your drawer, or put them in the dirty clothes. And they, as they look around at all the stuff to do, and they see that there's not that many clothes, their brain can say, okay, well, I can do that. I can do that step. Now, as I focus on each step and I don't give them 20 steps at once, they're able to complete each step. And at the end of the day, they get all 20 steps done, and they don't even know what happened. So reward leading indicators. That's the fourth one. That means reward things that are in people's control. So as you're using this app, a lot of times your people are going to be, if you sign up a new distributor, it will be walking through and training them. Or if you have a new prospect and they're doing the Zalo 3D, and when they take their Ignite in the morning, it's easy when you're in a business mindset, it's easy to drop right to the bottom line and where you focus on how many people did you sign up? How many people did you meet with? Instead, you'll actually get way better response rates from people if you reward leading indicators, which is how many calls did you make today? How many people did you talk to? Forget for a little bit, especially when people are starting, forget about how many of them decide to become a customer or how many of them decide to become a distributor. That's not the important number. Out of the gate, the number is how many people did you talk to? How many people did you reach out to? That's a leading indicator. Sign-ups are a trailing indicator, and leading indicators are way easier to manage. And when you can, as a leader, can do high fives with people and say, you made 3 phone calls? That's awesome. High five. That's great. And what happened on the phone calls is not nearly as relevant at the beginning as that they made the 3 phone calls. Push information to people. Don't expect that people will go out and find information. One of the biggest challenges in training is that people don't know what they don't know. So when you have a big library of information and you expect people to go and decide what they need to learn and where they have to initiate it, then your compliance rate goes down. So make sure that you send information to people. Make sure you send information to people and tell them what's next. You run the show. You quarterback it. And the last thing is drop point management. That simply is plan on people dropping the ball at times. And the real key to success in this industry is having a plan so that when people drop the ball, you know that they dropped the ball. So if you're asking someone to make their first list, and for some reason, and then you call them up and they haven't made the list, often we get frustrated, but your ability to manage them dropping the ball on what they agreed to do or what they were supposed to do, whether it's a customer or a prospect or a new distributor, your ability to manage that and get them to get back on track, get back in motion, ultimately will determine how successful the people are. So just kind of know that and the system is going to have a bunch of reminders in it that will help you identify when the ball's been dropped so that you can get people back on track instead of just expecting them to somehow recover, because it's the drop balls that often get people off track where they never get back on track again. So here's what Bite Size does, and this is what the app is going to basically do. It's going to take these big complex training things that you're doing and break them into small single focus pieces. It will break them out so that over time they're going to be learning each of the individual skills. They're going to be learning each of the individual skills that they need to be able to do the business. And so the next thing that you're going to do is it's going to do strategic build. So each piece will work with each other piece. Okay, each piece will work with the other pieces that are. So it will say things like, yesterday you learned these 3 approaches. Today let's take those approaches a step different, or a step further. And so it will use what they currently use, which builds some repetition, and it builds some practice, and it builds to these defined objectives. So the skills will add up to some objectives at the end, okay? Or the information or the process will add up to objectives. For example, if you give a 3D, a XANGO 3D sample, a best day yet sample, if you go through that process, then it's going to educate the customer for you. It's going to give them information about how the products work. It's going to remind them to take the samples throughout the day. It's going to send out texts from you that say, hey, don't forget to take your Limitless this afternoon. Don't forget to take your reload tonight. So it's going to be doing all this and managing the thoughts so that when you contact them again, when you follow up at the end of that day or the next morning, you're able to kind of complete a cycle that the system's been moving them through a psychological process, so that when at the end of the day, when you're asking them the questions, they're already prepped for it. It's done a lot of the lifting for you. So we want to make it easy. The last thing it does is it creates a lot of activities. So the activities in this are really, really important. It's important that when people learn the concepts, they immediately apply them, because if they don't, they'll forget. That's just how our brains work. And so it's important for you to help your people, especially as you have builders and sharers that you're using the app for. It's important that when they learn something that you help them apply it right away. And if you do, even if they only apply it once, even if they just practice it once, it will stick, and it'll stick in so that they can remember it. So here's kind of the secret that we can describe. This is my best definition of the app is we use psychology and strategy to create content process. It's already done for you. So all the steps are done for you. When you download the app, it is ready to go. You can start putting people in immediately, and you don't have to figure out what the steps are. You don't have to figure out what the emails need to say. You don't need to figure out when to remind them about things and what the texts are. It's all set up, and it's been done in a way that you'll be proud to send people the content. It's not pushy at all, ever. It's not salesy. It's just what it imitates, which the third rule here is it imitates social rules. So we use technology, but the app is going to act like you would if you were really great at follow-up. And it does things like it will send out an email to them saying, hey, here's the video that I promised to send you. 5 minutes after it sends the email, it will send a text from you that says, hey, I just sent you an email. Because that's what we would do socially. We don't want it to feel and look like an autoresponder. So it follows up and keeps track. A couple of other things it does that are really important. So I want to build 3 things. There's 3 important psychologies we're working to build with our with your customers, with your prospects, and with your downlines. The first one is I want to build trust. The way you build trust is by telling them exactly what you're going to do and then delivering exactly the way you promised. So you'll notice that a lot of the contacts, it will say, if I remind someone in the morning to take their Ignite in a best day yet sample, it will say, hey, it's time to take your Ignite, and I'll send you a reminder this afternoon to take the Limitless. And by making that agreement with them and telling them what I'm going to do, and then at 2 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, as I send them another text reminding them to take the Limitless, and that text says, I'll remind you again tonight to take the reload. And then that text will say, hey, tomorrow morning, I'll call you tomorrow morning to see how you're doing, to see how your day went. Or I'll call you because I want to be able to see how they slept and all those kind of things. And in the morning, it beeps on my phone and says, hey, it's time to call Bob about here's some questions to ask Bob. And And he will have gone through a process where at the end of the day, it'll make sense for him to say, what do you think? Does it make sense for you? We actually tee up at the end of that. Does it make sense for you to, A, to try this product for a longer basis and become a customer, and B, do you think you'll be sharing it with people? If so, let's get you set up so you can make a few cents for sharing it. And it sets all that up for you, okay? And each step, so it builds trust. The way you build trust is by telling people, by the way, this doesn't apply just to our app. Here's a great life tip. If you're in a relationship where your trust is low, the way you build trust is by telling them what you're going to do and doing exactly what you said. The byproduct of doing that, of keeping commitments, is trust. You don't have to do anything else. If you do that, you'll build trust. The second thing is we want to build reciprocity. Reciprocity simply means as I make deposits, as I invest in the relationship, as I do things for them that help them be successful, that help them get the benefit of the product, as I focus mostly on helping them get some benefit that they want from our products or from our opportunity, as I help them achieve that, I make deposits in the bank account that later on deposits allow me to make withdrawals at some point. So if I've made enough deposits and then I send them a video, say, I really appreciate it if you'd watch this video, you'll get a high percentage of them that will watch the video because they owe you, because you've been reminding them and helping them and educating them and thanking them and doing all the things you need to do to make the deposits before you ask for the withdrawal. So the system's set up to do all that for you, okay? And then the last one is confidence. So we want to create successes so that people have confidence, and as you create a spiral of people doing small things, having success, building confidence, I can take that confidence and leverage it into having them do more stuff. And then if they do more stuff and they have successes, they have more confidence, and I can leverage that into having them do more and more and more. So that's kind of the what's happening in the app psychologically as you're going through it. So I'm going to tell you how to get the AMP app, and then we're going to work on getting my phone back up. So here we had it up earlier, and we'll get it up so I can show you how the app works and a few things you can do with the app. So here's how you get it. You go to your XANGO back office, and you get the AMP toolkit, okay? You'll have an option to get it for a month, for 6 months, or for a year. Just my suggestion financially, you get a significant discount if you buy it for if you get it for a year. So if this is something you're gonna be diving in and doing this, you save a lot. You save money doing that. I think for a year it's $120 or something, and for a month it's $14.95 or something a month. So you save like 33%, which that's a good investment. Within 24 hours, you'll get an email from XANGO. So what happens is, as you get that, you get two things. You get your My XANGO Builder, your back office and app. You get that tool, and you also get the XANGO AMP app. So look for an email that says "Welcome to XANGO AMP," and it will have your username and password in it. So we get daily downloads of all the people who register, and then as soon as we get that information, we send out an email. We set up an account for you and send out an email with your username and password. Inside of that email will also be a link that says if you have an Apple or if you have an iOS device, click here, and if you have a Google device, click here, or an Android device, click here, and it will take you right to the App Store. You can download the app. The app from the App Store is actually free. And when you download it, put in your username and your password, and it will take you into the app. So launch the app. And that's kind of where we'll start with. That's where we'll start. So I'm going to do some. I want to do some training today. I'm going to start before we get in there. I'm going to start with some transitions. I want to teach you a couple of transitions. Transitions are simply, how do I move from having a conversation with someone into the app? How do I transition from this personal thing into the app? So I want to go through. So you actually have 7 tracks that are set up in the app, and they're already set up for you. The first one is a Zalo 3D sample. So in the Zalo 3D sample, that's going to be your best day yet sample. Here's what will happen. If you put someone into that sample, the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to get a text from you if you have the auto text, or they'll get an email if you don't, they'll get an email immediately that says, you know, hey, I'm really excited. Here's a quick video that explains how this works. And it's a whiteboard video that just tells a quick story about a guy that doesn't have any energy and is tired. As I said, it's funny. They'll laugh as they watch it. It'll tee up the thought, though, the psychology thought of that this is, they'll say, this makes sense for me to try the product. So at the end of the video, the last screen of the video, it says, are you ready for your best day yet? If you can set someone up and it will send them the email and have them watch it while you're sitting there, or have them watch it shortly after. And the question for you to ask them is, so are you ready for your best day yet? You know, does that make sense? And you're going to have a high percentage of people. 90% of the people will say, you know what, yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, I'll try it. It makes sense for me to try it, because we've kind of moved the psychology a little bit. And then it's going to send out reminder stuff. So the only question that you're going to ask on that one is, you're going to have them watch the video and say, hey, I'm going to send you, if I sent you a video, the first question is, if I sent you a quick video, would you watch it here for a second? And it explains this really cool product that I'm working with. And they will say, most of the time they'll say, sure, and you'll put them into the app. It will send them a video, either send them a text or send them the email immediately, and watch the video and say, so what do you think? You ready for your best day yet? To which they will say, yes, most likely, okay? And then the app will just run at that point. You don't have to do anything else. It'll do all the reminders for you, and it will tell you the end of the second day, it'll tell you to call them. Your phone will beep. If you're doing a product lead, if you want to put someone in that, if you ever have a conversation with someone and you say, man, I'm doing some work with this company, or something comes up where you see a problem or a specific issue that you know that XANGO has a solution for it, what you can just say is, listen, I've got some great products I'd love to share with you, someone doing. If I sent you a video, if I sent you some information, would you look at it? Is that something? And that's the only commitment you need to get, is just, yep, I would look at it. Yes, I would watch the video. Yes. And if you put them in that track, it's going to send them some information about the products, about the juice. It's going to send them information about the company, and it's just going to take them on a 3-day journey where you're kind of educating them and sharing with them about XANGO. And it's all from you. It's just stuff. The way it's worded, it sounds like you're just sitting down and saying, hey, here's a great video. I love this about the video, and it's not pushy. They don't feel like they're getting slammed with some sales or some marketing campaign. It will remind you at the end of it. If you put them in as an opportunity lead, the transition, if you're talking to someone and they're looking for ways to make some more money or something, you say, listen, I've got a great business that I'm involved in, and it's growing like crazy. I'd love to team up with you. If I sent you some information about it, would you watch that? That's the transition. You don't have to do a lot of heavy lifting. You don't have to do a lot of the explaining even. Just get them in the system under opportunity lead, and it's going to focus first on the opportunity and the lifestyle, and then it's going to move to product, and it's going to explain to them a little about what the XANGO products are all about, what the company's about. So that's with prospects. Those are the transitions, and all you got to do is get a small commitment to watch the information or to look at the information that you'll send them, and then just put them in the app and let the app do the work. If you have a customer, you have two categories. You have with opportunity and without opportunity. If you have a customer, the only time you'll use without opportunity is if you have a customer that says, listen, I like the product. I will buy the product. Please do not ever talk to me about network marketing. I don't want you to push me. I will stop buying the product if you keep pushing me on that. Then pick without opportunity. But anybody else, just pick customer with opportunity. It will help them use the product, remember to use the product. It will continue to educate them about XANGO and about the opportunity with XANGO, and it's going to remind you at key points in the process to reach back around, call them, ask them, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you noticing a difference? And you're going to have multiple opportunities to take them to the next step of maybe looking at being partnering with you in the business. And so just know that it's going to walk them through the process to help you get some of those people to eventually, even ones that told you no, to eventually walk them through the experience of using the product, experiencing the benefits of the product, and eventually their mind shift will start to happen of saying, gosh, it makes sense. I got people I want to share this with, and they can either give you referrals, or they can make a few cents for doing that. The third one is the distributors. Distributors, we have two categories of distributors. The first categories are sharers. Okay, sharers are people that they want to do the business on a casual basis. there are people that say, yeah, I don't, I don't want to dive in and just be a network marketer full time, but I do have some people I know that would love the product, and I'd like to make a few cents if I share it with them. The purpose of that program is to take people through, have some success sharing it, so that they start thinking, man, maybe it would make sense for me to be more serious about this, because I might be able to I could probably make some pretty good money. The Builder Series is kind of like the Pinnacle Series in this app, and the Builder Series is going to walk a new person that raises their hand and says, you know what, I love this, love the products, would love working with you. I want to build a XANGO business. And the Builder Series will walk through teaching them all the basic skills that they need to be successful building a XANGO business. It'll walk them through how to build a list. It's going to walk them through how to prioritize it. It's going to walk them through some approaches, how to overcome resistance, how to build passion for the product, how to invite people to a webinar or to a training, how to build commitment. It's going to walk them through over the course of about 19 or 20 days. Every single day it'll teach them a new thing in about 2 or 3 minutes and give them something to practice it. As they're learning, you'll be following along right with them. So you'll be getting emails as their leader, as their sponsor. You're going to be getting emails that say, hey, today Brett's working on building his list. His assignment is to fill out the worksheet, the memory jogger worksheet, and at the end of it, he's supposed to call you and let you know how many people are on his list. That's his assignment for the day. If you haven't heard from him by 5 o'clock, you need to call him. And at 5 o'clock, it'll send you another reminder. Your phone will beep, and it'll say, hey, if you haven't heard from Brett, call him. It's one of those we've dropped the cycle. He hasn't done his homework yet. Call him and help him out a little bit so he can have some success building a list. Okay, and it will coach you through how to be a good leader, how to support the new person in learning each of the things that they need to learn. If it teaches them how to make three-way calls, if you haven't made three-way calls, you'll get an email that morning that says, hey, here's if you've never led a three-way call, here's a quick video that shows you how to lead a three-way call. So when your person calls you to schedule three-way calls, you're up to speed and you know what you need to do that day. So it's going to train you to lead. It's going to train them to be successful in business. And then they get the app and start using the app, and it'll train them how to lead. So it becomes this really great duplication process. Okay, so that is that is the training. Now let me see if I can get my phone figured out here. Okay, so Polly, does that work?
Okay, I don't see your phone yet.
Okay.
But if you bring up, if you bring that up and do new recording, it should.
Okay. It should. New recording. What would stop it from doing that? Any idea?
So I ran into this when I was showing my screen. It seemed like whenever it stopped, I had to restart it. So you know what? Quit time and open it up again, and it should be fine.
Quick. All right.
And now do new, yeah. There you go.
That's me.
And then you do your little drop down right on your screen. You're next to the little red recording button, and change it to what's on your phone.
It is not doing that.
All right, hang on.
Okay.
Close that again. Go right there to your drop down next to your red. There you go. And I'm having trouble seeing that, but does it say FaceTime HD Camp? No, that's you. Okay, your phone. Good. Well, that's interesting. It should be showing. And you did new recording?
I did new recording.
Try new screen. Sorry, folks, a little technical stuff. We ran into this a few weeks ago, but I was able to, every time I ejected it and started it over, I was able to do it.
Okay,
right,
so do you have any other suggestions? If not, I can probably find, if you guys just be patient for 1 second, I think I've got I've got some screenshots I can pull up.
All right, well, there's that, Brett. Also, if you've got your lightning cable, you can use AirPlay. You just hook it right into the computer and use AirPlay instead of QuickTime, and it'll display your screen.
I don't know if I have my lightning cable. Into the internet?
Into your computer.
I have that cable. I have a cable, yes. I have a cable in my
So if you hook your phone up with a lightning cable right into your computer and use AirPlay, it's even better than QuickTime.
Got it. Just hold on 1 second.
That's fine. So while you're doing that, I'm gonna. I don't know if you can multitask. We've got some questions in the Q&A, so I don't know if you could do that and listen to a question and answer at the same time.
I can do that.
You're amazing. That's usually something that only women can do. All right, so we'll just get to some of the questions while you're setting that up.
Okay.
So one of the questions is, when you set somebody up in the app as a prospect as a best day yet sample, and you're setting up just, maybe it's even just setting up a test, you get a reminder that says you need to send a text to somebody. So do you have to manually go in and send it, or they're automatically getting that text?
Okay, so we set a default. We had people that were somewhat confused. That's a great question. So if you have the app, and there's two versions of the app. So there's one that has auto texting, and there's one where there's some people that said they didn't want auto texting. They want to be able to hit the send button. So if you do not have auto texting, then yes, you have to go in and tell it to send it, and it loads the text in your text box for you, and you just hit the send button. If you want auto texting, then all you have to do is email customer support. Right from the app, there's a place that says email support. Tell them your name and that you want auto texting. And what auto texting does is it actually assigns a number, a 9-digit phone number, to your phone, and it sends text for you from that number. And it says, hey, this is my number. If they text you back, it will go right to your phone. It goes right to the app. So you can text back and forth with people and stuff using this other number. But you'll actually have two numbers then. One of them is automatically sending and receiving things. The other one, you have to hit the send button. So Apple and Android will not let us send a text from your phone without you hitting a send button. But we can populate it and do everything else.
Okay, so if I did not choose auto texting and I have to hit the send button, then in the morning at 8 a.m., I will get a reminder that I have to hit the send button. The person won't automatically get the text.
Correct.
Okay. Awesome. While you're continuing, so let me just go through some more questions.
Keep going.
All right, so when I put somebody in the best day yet, will the system send out automatic? Oh, we just kind of covered that. All right, and here's a question. Are the principles that you're teaching in your book? If so, how can people get your book?
The best way to get it is just on Amazon. So yes, they're in the book. Well, a lot of them are. The book goes into lots more detail, but yes. The Amazon is probably the best way. You can get it at bookstores too, but I don't know why anybody goes to bookstores anymore. I
agree.
Yes.
To drink the coffee and enjoy the quiet, but people go to Starbucks for that now.
Yes. Exactly.
All right. So, boy, all these questions are about the automated text. So if there's anybody that's not clear on that now, please submit a new question, because I have a lot of texts that are asking about the automated text. So if you want your phone to do it automatically, open up your app, and in the app under support, it'll say email customer service or call customer service. But if you email customer service, it'll come from your app, and you can just say, please turn on auto texting, and then the texts go automatically. Otherwise, you have to manually send. So if there's any other confusion on that, please put another question in the question box so that I can clarify whatever is not clear. All right, here's, well, I see your screen's up now with your shot, so if you want to go ahead and minimize your screen share tool and continue from there, then I'll do more questions after.
Okay, I can do that. Let's minimize that, and there we go. Okay, so just be patient. You guys are going to see a little. This looks a little bit different. I had done this to do some training prior to this, and so the background now is just plain white. There's been a couple of modifications, but this will get you the basics of how to use the app, okay, and this will walk you right through it. So when you log in, once you download the app, you'll have a usually you'll download the app and it will give you an option to open the app right from the download screen. And if you haven't downloaded the app, you can, or if you don't open it, then if you go to your Windows or your Android screens, you'll see a small icon that says XANGO AMP. Okay, and your XANGO AMP icon, if you click on that, will open up this screen. So there's three things that you can do when you first get the app. We've added one more feature. So at the bottom, it's going to have one more option where you can select a language set. So we have the app in both English and Spanish. And if you primarily speak Spanish or primarily deal with the Spanish-speaking market, then you can select Spanish and the app will be in Spanish and all the content will be in Spanish as well. But you put in your username and password that you get in your email. So that's how you log into the app. If you click the Remember Me button, there's a little box that says Remember Me. If you click that, you will not have to put your username and password in anymore. Okay. Now, one of the things, if you can save that email and maybe print it out or write it down someplace if you have it, your username and password, later on, if you lose your phone, if you ruin your phone, if you get a new phone, all you have to do is download the app, put in your username and password, and it will automatically pull all of your data down to the new phone. So you don't have to copy anything across. You'll never lose any data. All data is stored on the cloud. And so every time you save a new contact, it's automatically saving it for you and doing a backup for you. And all you have to do is on a new device. That also means that if you have like an iPhone and you want to put the app on an iPad, I strongly recommend you use your iPhone to drive the app. But if you wanted to play with it on your iPad, if you use your same username and password, all of your data that you put in on your iPhone will show up on your iPad as well. Or your Android tablet. So anyway, that's how that works. And then you click the sign in button. Okay, and so that's the first step. The first time you log into the app, it's going to walk you through setting up your preferences. Okay, and it'll go right to the preference screen. If you've already logged in, then you'll see this. You'll say Contacts, My To-Dos, and Setup, and you'll go right to the Setup page. Okay, so when you go to Setup and Preferences, the Preferences is the first option. This is what tells the app how to customize things for you. It's important that you do this before you start putting contacts in, okay? Because the contacts, this is what tells it when it's sending emails and texts, and it tells it how to sign it from you, what's your signature, what's your website, all that kind of stuff that it needs to know comes from this screen. So it's gonna ask you to put in your name, your phone number, your email address. That should probably already be in there. It's gonna ask you how you want to sign things, which is the next thing. What's your signature look like? I often sign things. If you get an email from me and I know you, I sign it B. That's usually how I sign mine. I don't usually put my full name. I just sign it Best B. Okay. So in this case, the fourth box is how do you want to sign things? If your name's Robert and you sign it Bob, then you would put Bob in that because that's how you're going to want to sign emails in that informal signature. It would be weird if you were signing your emails, thanks, Brett Harward. I don't do that anyway. The next one is your title. If you have a title, so if you're a 5K or 500K or whatever, and you want to put the title, it puts that in some of the emails. If you don't put anything in there, it won't put anything in it. It'll just leave it blank. The tag, you've got to, how do you sign, the next one is, how do you close an email? So if you have a way that you normally close something, like I close everything best or my best. If you want to close it with thanks or to your success, if you don't have one that works great in XANGO is have your best day yet. And it'll sign it, have your best day yet. You do not need to put a comma in. That will be inserted in the other text. So you just put in the phrase you want to use to sign off on emails, to close emails. If you have a tagline, you put that in. Most people don't. If you don't know what that means, then you don't have a tagline. Okay? So if you have a tagline within your group, within your organization that you'd like to use, you can put that in. But I wouldn't mess with it if you don't have one. If you have a replicated website, put that in. Okay, on the second to the last option, and put in the link to that. That way, when you're sending out emails, because you never know, once you start sending those emails, sometimes 2 months down the road, someone who wasn't interested, something changes, and they're going back and they search and they'll pull up an old email, and you want them to be able to go in and look at things or buy product and always have access to your replicated site or to your whatever site that you want them to go to. The last thing is your time zone. This is really, really important that you put in a time zone. Most of the activities and most of the events that are being scheduled by the app are very time dependent. So it knows it needs to send this at 7:30 in the morning, and it's going to send this other email at 10 o'clock at night. And it's using some psychology in when it's sending things and why it's sending them when it sends them. So, for example, it might say in the morning they may get an email that says, hey, I've got another video. I'm going to find the link for it that I think you'll really enjoy. And then at 10:30 at night, it'll send them another email that says, okay, I've been looking for that link. I finally found the link. Sorry it's so late. Here's the link to this video. And what will happen is you'll get a very, very high watch rate because you built some reciprocity there. So put in your time zone. Most of the people you put in will be in your current time zone. So that will become the default when you put in a prospect. When you're done, hit the save button. And when you hit the save button, it will give you a notice that the information was saved, and it updates all that to the cloud. Okay. The second step, if you go back to the main menu, so if you just go back, the second thing that you'll want to do is to put in contacts, and that's really all I want to cover today. Is how do you set up your preferences, and then how do you put in contacts. So when you put a contact in, on the very first option on the main menu, you'll see a contact that says, you'll see something that says contacts. If you click on that, you'll have 4 choices. Your 4 choices are to add a new contact, or 5 choices. Add a new contact, view prospects, view distributors, view customers, and view inactive. Okay, inactive means they're not assigned to any category. If you want to find an existing person that you've put in, just go to their category. So if you put them in and you know they're a distributor, go to view distributors, and you'll see a list of your distributors that you've been working with through the AMP app. If you look at prospects, all your prospects will be lumped in that group. Okay, but if I want to add a new person, I click on Add a New Contact, and when I click on that, it takes me into the contact screen. Okay, and so in the contact screen, there's the top 2 fields are filled in already for you. So it will default to your time zone. So where it says the first field is time zone. It's important that if they're not in your time zone, that you just click on the little arrows and it'll pull a pull down that has all time zones in it. And it's important that you pick their time zone because a lot of the events are timed based on their time zone. If we want to remind someone to take Ignite at 10 o'clock in the morning, then it needs to know what 10 o'clock in the morning is for them. So most of the time, the default is set up correctly. However, just know that if you meet someone, they're from New York and you live in California, then you're going to want to adjust that. And one of the big reasons you want to adjust that is because you get all kinds of bonus points when you send an email at 8 o'clock in the morning New York time, and I promise you they're doing the math on it and saying, holy crap, they're up at 5 o'clock in the morning to remind me to take my take my Ignite, and you get extra bonus points for sending that at 5 o'clock in the morning your time. The second thing is the date. It always will plan on starting starting the regular series tomorrow, okay? Because all the timed events and cycles. So if you set up a new distributor, if you set up somebody in the builder program, it will start tomorrow. And that doesn't mean they are going to get a couple of emails from you today, a couple of texts that will be based on, like, it's going to send them something in an hour, and it's going to send them something else in an hour and a half. That's oh yeah, by the way, I forgot one thing. One of those emails. And so it's gonna do that time sequence, but then it starts the bulk of the training in the morning, because I want to create the habit of people every single morning. The first thing they do is they get on their XANGO AMP, or they get on their email if they're one of your prospects or your customers or your distributors. They get on their email and they've got what they need to do that day is already been sent to them. And so we'll start that way. The third thing, these are the only three things that you need to put in, though, is you need to put in the name, their phone number, and their email address, and confirm it with them, especially the email address. A lot of what we do is through email, so confirm the email address with them and say, okay, is this right? Is this the right email address? It's important that you ask them the question. So I want to talk about the psychology of this again for a second, since this is a big psychology play. It's important that as you're talking with someone, what you ask them is, can I send you some information? Is it okay? Can I get your contact information so I can follow up with you? You're going to ask them a question like that, because when they give you their contact information as an answer to that question, it means they're expecting you to follow up with them, to call them, to text them, whatever. They're giving you that permission, and it's really important that they've given you the permission. If you're just collecting a whole bunch of business cards and you go to a networking event and you come back with 100 business cards and you put them all in the system, and they didn't look you in the eye and say, yes, follow up with me, your results will not be nearly as good. So if you have collected 100 business cards, what I would do is I would take the time to call each of them, spend a couple of minutes on the phone, remind them who you are, and then ask them, hey, is it okay if can I follow up with you? Is this your correct email address? Is this your phone number? Is that I'm going to put you in my reminder so I can follow up with you. Get them to say yes. That goes a long way towards getting them to respond favorably to everything else that you're going to send them. The last thing you'll do is you'll pick the categories. So you'll have 3 categories that you can pick. They'll either be a prospect, a distributor, or a customer. And based on those 3 categories, and I don't have it on this one, we've actually modified it since then. So based on the types of customer they are, you'll put them into a category, though. If you gave them a 3D sample, put them in that category. If you talk to them about the products, put them in that prospect category. If they're a new person that just joined your team, you're going to ask them a question, decide whether they want to be in the sharer or a builder category. And you'll click on the category, and then you'll hit the save. So the save is up on the top right-hand corner. When you hit the save, it starts the process right then. As a matter of fact, that's one of the nice things, is you don't have to go back. You don't have to remember anything. You can go off to your next thing. The system will tell you when you've got something you need to do. Other than that, it will be doing the building part for you in the background. As soon as you hit the save button, you'll get a little notification that says it was successfully saved, and then you're good to go. The last thing I'll show you is this. The last thing I'll show you is your to-do list. So on your to-do list, if you go there, it will show you. You can go to Daily Success Plan, and from that Daily Success Plan, it's going to pull up a list of what you have scheduled for the day. And it will tell you what it's done. If there's a check mark by it, it means that the system has already done it. If there's not a check mark by it, it means that the system is still waiting to do it. And if it's blue, it means it's something you need to do. Okay? So if it's blue, it means you need to do it, which means you hit the check box and the system will do it for you. If it's a phone call that's scheduled, or if you're on manual text, those will be blue, and you'll click on the box and say do it, and it will load up whatever screen. If it's a phone call, it will tell you, here's what you need to ask, here's your little call script, and it will dial the phone number for you, and you're off into the races. Each day, all these boxes should be checked at the end of the day. If you do that, you'll be using the system effectively. Okay? If I want to see what something is, you can see on the screen a little round arrow with an up arrow. If I click on that, it will pull down. Open a little drawer on your screen that says, oh, this is an email, and here's what the email says. and it will show you exactly what's being sent to them or what was sent. If it's a checked box, it will show you exactly what was sent to them, and that is the end of that training. So I'm gonna open up this screen one more time. Play from the first slide. Okay. So from this to-do screen, if you use this as your Bible, so here's my coaching on this. Here's my coaching on how to use the app. First thing you do every single morning when you wake up, the first thing you do is you find an opportunity to get some people in the app. Put in some prospects. Find somebody on your team that you want to do some training with. Even if they were signed up a couple months ago, call them up and say, hey, we've got this new training program. I would love to go through this with you, and get them to agree. Get some contacts in your app. And so you have a reason to go in there. And every morning when you wake up, before you reach over and grab your phone from your nightstand, okay, before you reach over and grab your phone and check your emails and check Facebook and go through that morning routine, add the very first step to that routine. Go to your AMP app and click and look at your daily to-do list. And your daily to-do list will tell you what you've got going on, when you need to make phone calls through the day, what's scheduled, what's been completed. Most of it will be automatic for you, but it's good to know who's getting what, so that if you see them at the gym, you know that, hey, this morning you just sent them an email or you just sent them a lesson on, how to on icebreakers. It's important that you know that. So just go through it, look at the emails you're sending to people automatically. Spend 5 minutes getting clear on your schedule. If there's a call you've got to make at 3 o'clock this afternoon, map it into your schedule. Say, okay, where am I going to be at 3 o'clock? Okay, I need to remember to call Bob. Now, it's going to remind you at 3 o'clock to call him, but if you have it kind of mapped in, you'll do a better job of completing your part of the follow-up. The app will do 80%. You've got to do your 20%. So having said that, that's a good starting point. There's a bunch of other stuff this does. At some point, we'll have an advanced training, but I don't want to overwhelm everybody. If you do those 3 things, you'll use 90% of what the app does. We're having some great testimonials, some great experiences of people getting people they don't feel like they would get otherwise. If you use this consistently as a business tool, you'll be far more successful. So if we've got some more questions, Colleen, let's.
Brett, I do have more questions, and I also figured out the QuickTime issue because I've got it showing on my screen now, and it's black when your phone's not showing. You have to turn your phone, wake your phone back up. So if you want to pull that up, some of these questions, just pull back up your QuickTime again, but this time when you get that black screen, instead of screen recording, go up to the QuickTime and do movie recording. And now you're probably showing your screen, but you got to wake up your phone.
Okay.
So just turn your phone on, and then it'll show your phone screen. At least that's what I just did. I've got mine up, showing on my QuickTime.
That's weird. It's not showing on mine still.
Okay, so real quick on QuickTime, go back up to File.
Yeah.
And do New Recording. Not screen, but movie. Okay, so it's going. Now let's go back to your screen and click on your little drop down next to the red recording button. Open that up. Okay, so you've got, it's not showing. Okay, it's on your phone, and now you and is your phone connected with the lightning cable or no?
It is.
Okay, and so your phone on, you can see the phone screen on your phone?
Yep, my phone is on.
Very interesting. Well, I could take the screen back if we need to, but we'll just see. We'll see if we can get through the questions without doing that.
Okay.
That's just really interesting. Click the FaceTime HD camera for just a second and then back to your phone. Maybe that'll do it. We can see you for a moment. And now go back to your phone.
FaceTime HD camera and go back to my phone.
And your phone's on, and you can see what's okay. Are we getting something? And if we don't get it now, it's fine. We'll just go to the questions without it. That's just interesting. So I did what you did and found out I had said to turn on my phone, and it worked fine. But that's interesting. Okay. So if you want, you can pause your screen share, just leave it there, and we'll just answer some questions. And if we need to show the screen, I'll just take it back and I'll show my phone. And then go through and drive me to what you need to show people. But there's a lot of questions here.
Okay.
So we're going to go a little bit over time so that we can get to all of these questions, because there's a lot of really good questions, and this is fantastic training. And once these questions get answered, I think people are gonna not be so scared. For some reason, when people run into something, instead of ask the question or email support or call support, they just freeze and stop. And I showed this a couple of weeks ago and was able to show my screen, which maybe I'll just take back the screen and show how easy it is to just call support. There's just a link right there. So I'll pull that up, but let me ask questions, and while you're answering them, I'll do that. So one question is, and some of these might take more training, and so if we can't answer them simply, we'll simply defer. But one is, can you please provide a running script of conversations and mentor instruction responses for each of the 7 categories? I need to see the whole picture of what's expected of them and me. So is there a place where people can get a script to be able to respond to the people in these 7 categories of what to say to them?
Yes. Hold on one second. I'm going to check something really quick, and I think I've got a good answer for that. So if I go into if we go into that, but if it's not there, I will tell you. I will put it there. So all the transitions that I talked about. If you go into the contacts and and add a new contact, and you look at you pull up a category, okay, then if you'll notice that there's a little I button with a circle around it on any category. Can you pull that up?
Yep.
On your phone.
Pulling it up right now.
And so what I will help with, what I can do that can help with that is I'll give you, I'm looking at it, I don't know that it's on there. Are you
okay, so can you see
there we go.
the screen?
Okay, so if we go into the app.
All right.
And we, okay, so go back one here, and then go to contacts, and then add a new contact, and just so you can see here. So now go to, pull down the distributor, go to distributors, just pull that bar down, that tray down. So see the I there on the builder? So if you click on that, so click on the I. So you're going to notice it's going to say, it'll tell you, here's what this series is designed for. It's designed for new distributors that really want to build a XANGO business. This series will have higher levels of accountability and support between you and the new distributor. It will teach some basic skills they need to quickly grow their XANGO business. The topics include 10 in motion, icebreakers, inviting basics. So it's going to show that. What I can add to that screen, if you'd like, is I'll add a transition. Here's the transition comment. I can add those to so each of those, if you'll give me till Monday afternoon, any of those I's, if you click on them, it will share with you, here's the best way to transition into this series. And hopefully that answers the question. But this will tell you what's in each series, how it works, and what it's designed to do. If you click on the I's, it will give you a quick explanation of it. Does that answer the question?
Fantastic. Yes, it is. And here I'm going to show everybody the new XANGO AMP. On training and support, if you simply click on that, you get 2 choices right there. Email support, click on that, and you can ask to have your auto texting put on if you would like. Or call support, which I love this, and you can just call, and you can automatically call and speak to a live person who can help walk you through what you need to be walked through on the app if there's any training that you need or help with the setup.
Yeah, just call Monday mornings. Our support people are there from 8:30 to 5 on Monday through Friday. So call them.
What time zone is that? Mountain time?
Mountain time. Yep, 8:30 to 5.
8 to 5 Mountain time, Monday through Friday. That is fantastic. Okay, we're going to run through some other questions, and some of these I might need to go back to this on. Is the AMP app also free the first 30 days like my XANGO Builder?
I'm not sure how the questions are. I'm not sure how the billing works on that, honestly. So the billing, I think you have to buy it. You have to buy the AMP toolkit. You have to buy that in your back office, and I don't think it's free for 30 days. I think it's a package thing, and we don't really do any of the billing. So we are notified whenever you guys buy that, and it automatically sets it up. We are working on. We're talking to Ryan about some ways to. We've got a few options to try and get it out to everybody, but so they can at least play with it and test it. But right now, I think it's only activated when you buy it.
Okay, and a question on the videos, they come by email or text or both? When you put somebody in your contact manager, are they getting emails and texts, or one or the other for the videos?
They're getting both, but almost all the videos are coming via an email. We do something called framing, which is we always set a context for the video and an email is a better way to do that than text, because it's usually a little bit more information. Usually we're saying, this is a great video. This is this video is Ryan Anderson, and he's one of the vice presidents, and he's an awesome dude, and he's got, or this video is Collie, and she's going to teach you this, and she's amazing. The videos are framed like that, and so it just takes a little bit more. You violate the texting rules by when we do that. There are a couple videos that are sent via text, though.
Great. The name of the book again, people miss that.
The 5 laws that determine all of life's outcomes.
Great. And Sandy, if you could throw that in the chat box, that would be helpful. The 5 laws to determine all of life's outcomes. Does the auto-texting phone number cost anything if you set up auto-texting?
You know what? It does, except for right now. I think we still have our special going on from the show, although we're about to change that. So the auto texting there's cost involved in that for us. I mean, we actually have to buy the numbers and pay for them every month. But right now, I think it's just included in the normal rate. You can pick and choose whether you want to do auto texting or not. So I think it's all the same. It's right now, we did a special at the Rush to where if you got the program, you got auto texting for free if you wanted it. And I think that is still, I don't think we've changed it back. So I would jump on it and get auto texting.
Yes, for sure. Will there be an app soon for tablets and iPads? So what do we have this now on our Android and our iOS phone devices, but what about iPads and Android tablets?
It works great on iPads and Android tablets. Here's the caveat. You have to use the email links because it's registered, although I don't know why, but if you search for an iPad app, it does not show up. But it works great on an iPad. We have a lot of people that use it on an iPad or on an Android tablet. So the email you get with the links, if you click on that, it works great. You can download it right to your tablet and go. If you're searching for if you're searching at the iTunes store, then it has to be under an iPhone. So that's the only catch.
That is really great information to know. So we're not going to find it on our iPads or in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, but we will find it if we go into the email and look in the email.
Yes, correct. The link. Just use the link in the email.
All right. Is the login information different from your XANGO login?
Yes.
So what happens, and I'll just answer that since that's our probably number one confusion that we have is people thinking these apps are the same. So my app works with My XANGO Builder, which works with your My XANGO back office, which is all your ID number and password to log into any of that. This app, the XANGO AMP app, is a separate app, just like we have other XANGO apps, like the Faveo app or the Elaviv app. They're completely separate. And it does require an additional login, username and password to you when you sign up and get this app. It's sent to you in the email. Now, Brett, one other question is, can people change their username and password other than the system-generated one?
Right now they can't, although we're working on a little control panel that will let them do that. But right now but if they check the Remember Me box, they never ever have to deal with it again. It's just kind of a double encoded way so that people can't access someone else's contacts, and it's more of just a security, one-time security thing is what it is.
Okay, great. So I'm going to go back to just to show. I'll let my phone turn off for a second, so it's taking a minute to come back in. Well, while that's doing it, I'll ask the next question. I entered someone into my app, and I did not receive a text reminder to send the text to them. How do they set up their preferences to get that?
Not, they might check to see if they have auto texting. Their preferences, if you go in, okay, I don't know how to do that on Android. On an iPhone, you need to go into the iPhone to your notifications, go to your AMP app, and make sure that when you log in the very first time, it asks you if you want to receive notifications. When you load the app, it asks you that. You need to say, yes, I want to receive notifications. Otherwise, you have to go to your notifications and turn on notifications in the app. So that,
right.
That means
as soon as it finishes logging in, I'll show them where to do that. And while it's doing that, let me go to another question. Okay, wait. So when it launches here, people are asking how to get to it launches to your daily success plan. And this simple little back browser right next to the success plan is what you're going to click on, and it's going to take you to the. Now, if I'm in the screen and I set up my app and didn't know about notifications, how can I go in and change it now? I go to Setup.
Well, this is on your actual iPhone.
I'm on my iPhone.
Go
your settings on your iPhone. Okay, let me show everybody that. So, by the way, Android users, I do have some, but here you go. And it's going to be the same with Android except for different. I mean, but there's still settings and notifications. So here I go into my notifications. And on my notifications, these are all my different apps that I have. And you can set every notification up to tell you what sounds, banners, or alerts, so that whether or not there's a beep beep that comes in when something happens, or whether or not there's just a little banner that comes up with the text. And so we're just going to go down and we're going to find our app, and we're going to turn our notifications on. And I have so many doggone But anyway, that's where you're going to do it, is in your notifications on your phone, and it'll tell you to turn on the notification. You will receive those texts, or whether or not you want a sound or whether or not you just want the words to tell you.
Yeah, and the best thing to do the best thing to do is when you load the app, it's going to pop up. Your phone will pop up once and say, or do you want to allow notifications? Make sure you click yes, and then it will automatically be set that way.
Perfect. And, of course, if anybody does have an issue that they feel like they didn't set something up and they don't know how to do it, they could always delete the app and reinstall it, right?
Yep. They can delete the app, reinstall it, or they can call support.
Perfect. Okay. Are we going to get lots of questions on this? I have the same myself. So XANGO Eris just launched. We love these products. We want some really fun videos. Now, are we going to have an Eris system in the app?
We're working on that. Yes.
I figured
we are
as much.
working on that. You can do an Eris sample as well as a best say yes sample.
Great. Okay. You talked about show me how to change my language. Is it on this page, or where do I have to go to do that?
You have to reload. That's one where you have to delete the app and reload it. It selects it once, and then it picks all the screens and everything. So it's not on this page. It is
part of the initial setup. Now, but so I can't switch back and forth between English and Spanish. It's whatever I set it up for when I first get it. I'm going to put it in my language, and there's no reason for me to switch back and forth because this is my app. Wait.
Correct.
Okay. And when I'm sending information to a prospect, is there other languages for me to send the emails or the videos to, or they're all in English right now?
They're all in whatever language you picked. So we have both sides. We are we're working on an option. It's not in there yet, where you'll be able to select that one of your contacts speaks Spanish, and it will send them things in Spanish, even if your app is in English.
Wonderful. Here's a question for people who are on the monthly plan, but they want to switch to the annual plan. Do they buy that through XANGO, or can they call customer service to upgrade?
No, you buy it through. You just go into the AMP toolkit and buy the annual plan, and it will automatically. Even if you have some time left on your month, that is one thing we've done. So if you have 2 weeks left on your monthly plan, it'll actually add 2 weeks to your annual plan, and you won't lose anything. So you can do that anytime.
Perfect. This might be a question for a person who has a prospect with a really old smartphone, because it says, or maybe an old computer. It says they sent a video to a prospect and they got a message that said a plugin is needed to watch, but it doesn't say what plugin, and there's no link to click or to find one. So for people who get the message error can't be displayed, plugins required, what do we tell those people? Get a new computer?
Probably get it. I don't even know if they're watching other videos on YouTube or whatever. They should be able to watch our videos. But if they have a really old computer, then they probably just need to. I don't even know what they would upgrade. It depends on what kind of computer they have, what their video browser is.
So the only time I've run into that are people, usually the problem is they have a really old computer, they have a really old operating system, or they have a really old browser like Internet Explorer 2000 BC. And when that occurs, then there can be some issues, but that means they're having all the videos they try to watch, not just with our app.
Yeah, tell them to go get on their kid's phone, and they can watch it on their kid's phone.
There you go. All right. If somebody has the app, okay, so the same, if somebody is confused, if you've got the app on your phone and there's any issue that you have, it's not so, if you delete it and reinstall it, you're going to be fine. Some people, because I know I ran into this, when it first came out, when we were in pre-launch mode, before it even launched and was available to everyone, I had to reinstall it. So when you do that, you don't lose access. Those are all built into the app. You're not going to lose anything by deleting and reinstalling, correct?
That's correct. It's all stored on the cloud, and every time you reinstall it, it just downloads everything just fresh, exactly whatever the last set of data was.
Okay. Here's somebody that says there's no place that says forgot password. I thought there was.
On the front screen now, there's a help button that will allow you to you can go recover your password, or we added some features. So if you can't log in, one of the problems we had is if people couldn't log in, they couldn't get to the support number either, and so I think we just made the new version of it. Actually, if you have help, it asks you, do you want to call support? You want to go to the registration page, you want to recover your password. I think all those options are on there.
Okay, so here we are at the main screen, and right under the sign-in it says forgot your password. And here is the little remember, there's a box. If you check that box, see right now I'd have to enter my password in because it's not checked. So if I enter the password in, and then click remember, and then sign in, now it'll remember me. If I couldn't remember the password, then I would simply click on the forgot password and it would take me.
Yeah,
so now if I've got remember, I remember the name, I remember the password. When I launch my app now, it goes right into it.
Correct.
All right. Is there a way to download your contacts? So and is there a way to upload contacts, or do they all have to be done manually one at a time?
We have played with this. Right now they have to be done manually. And the reason is because I wanted to force people to look people in the eye and say, can I get your contact information so I can send you some stuff? But we are actually toying with some we've got some things on our development plate where you'll be able to import and export from your contact list. And so we're adding some tools there, but that's still a little ways out, a couple months out, still on that.
Okay, great. I have one question. Somebody says their app doesn't look like your slides. So first of all, I don't know if your slides were a different version from what I'm showing on the screen, but I'm showing an Apple screenshot of my phone's an Apple. If you have an Android, it is going to look a little bit different as far as logging into it and setting it up and getting it from the Play Store and how things work. But if somebody else, I'm not sure, the question, Mike, who question, let me know if you have an Android and Apple.
That I had was a little bit, what I was showing on the screen was a little bit older version. The functionality is still the same, and the functionality between Apple and Android, you should be able to translate. I mean, if you're looking at the screens, even though they might look slightly different, the way it functions and navigates is exactly the same on both phones. So. Okay,
great. Yeah, you had some screenshots before your most recent update, so that's probably what they were looking at.
Yeah.
Is product with or without? I'm not sure what that question means, so I'm going to skip that one. All right, for Eris and XANGO Juice, we have My XANGO Builder replicated sites. Why not, for the best day yet, Xalo Pro? By the way, the person who's asking this question, let me just say that my MB30 is the Xalo Pro, and I use that with the best day yet, but it doesn't actually say yet that's true. Does the AMP give the participant option to shop through our ID? Is AMP ever going to give people the option to shop, or is that what we use My XANGO Builder for?
AMP, that's what you use My XANGO Builder for. That's the strength of My XANGO Builder. It is a mobile extension of your back office. But this is a much better platform for contacting and building the relationships and moving people through that process. We're having talks with those guys, by the way, so there may be some integrations that come in at some point down the road. There's an interest in merging some of the front end app utilities. So we'll see where that goes.
Okay, great. I've got one person that says they first accessed the app in June and they have many past due events. How do they delete them?
Go in and if they go into them, they can just say mark is done. If they click on the little square and they say mark is done. So if they go into the daily success plan,
the past due text, and I'm going to mark those.
Yeah, if you go in there, change the log, yes, say okay, and then you can and then just say mark done.
There we go, mark done. All right. We're down to we're under 10. I just emailed one of my distributors through the app, and now I cannot get back to the app. Should it automatically go back? My iPhone does not have a back option. I'll show you this, by the way. I'm going to show you on my iPhone. If you double-click the button at the bottom, it'll show you all the apps that you have open. So then you can go back. So if you're at an email or a text or sending something like that and you want to go back to your AMP app, I have a lot of programs open right now. You can go back to it that way by, I don't usually have this many open. But you can simply go back and find it that way. But so you just double-click on and go back to it and see which one it is. Anyway, you just double-click on your app.
See your very first app.
There it is.
Right there.
And then I click on it, and now I'm back to it. So that's a little secret on iPhone. I don't know about on Android, but it opens up all the apps that you happen to have open at the moment, and then you can scroll through and go back and forth between email, texting, and your AMP app.
On Android, I think you just click on the button again, and it will just bring you right back to where you were at.
Click on the
icon, AMP icon.
Perfect. Yeah, we got confirmation. Sandy apparently texted Amanda and said, no, that doesn't answer the question completely. My XANGO Builder is free for the first 30 days. When you sign up, you get it. I thought she was clarifying whether or not the AMP app was also included in that. I think it is because I think they're connected. I think it's a 30-day deal. So what happens for most people when they sign up for a year, they get a year plus a month because you're getting a free month included in whatever you're doing, whether it's a monthly or annually or an annually.
It very well could be. I'm not even sure about that on my side.
Okay, the links in the email don't work on the tablet. It does on the iPhone, but not on the tablet. Are you aware of that?
I'm not.
Then I'm sure. So the person who submitted this question, by the way, anyone who runs into anything like that, what they need to do every time I've said anything about anything is click on training and support, click on email support, and if it has one of these things, suggest training support or suggest an improvement with the description, and then just say the link doesn't work on the iPad, and submit that. And that way customer support will get any issues that there is or any suggestions or improvements, send it there on email support. Okay, I think if we already had the app before convention, did we free text messaging automatically?
Yes.
It's included in the app right now.
Yeah, it's included in the app right now, but you have to let them know. We had turned on some automatic text messaging, and we actually got a rash of phone calls from people who said, I don't like that. I want to see what I'm sending out. And so we actually moved everybody back to regular, and we've made it now where if you want auto texting, if I were you, I would do auto texting. I recommend it. It gives you one less thing that can stuff to fall through the cracks. Just let the support know, and they will move you over to the auto texting. If you had it before the show, then you're entitled to get auto texting for free. So
great. There's a question here that says, what was suggested to put in the website in preferences?
Your replicated, whatever your replicated site is, whatever you want people to go to if they want to go buy something or sign up, whatever site you want them to go to.
Okay, so if you want them to go to your ERA site, it's going to be your site name .myzangoeras.com. If you're doing Best Day Yet and you want them to see the Zalo Pro site, you want to go to your site name .mymb30.com, and that way after they're done, they're going to click and see the Zalo Pro Line products. Or whatever site you want.
Yep.
This is an interesting question. Yeah, this would be great if somebody ever came up with an app like this. It says, out of all these apps, why don't they have just one robust app that makes these apps all work instead of all these different apps? You know what? The whole thing is, if you look at my phone, these are all my different apps. These are just my XANGO apps. And then in addition to that, I've got just tons and tons and tons of apps that I use for different things. It would be awesome if I had one super managed phone. But that's really what my phone is. My phone is the app that runs all my apps. But there isn't. I mean, maybe someday somebody will come up with an app that will communicate with all the different XANGO apps. But the fact is, Brett's company is a separate company. His is to give you the bite-sized training and follow-up and walk people through this process of giving them the information that they need to make a decision. It is not a XANGO back office. It's not a XANGO app. It's just an app that XANGO is giving you for free, just like the tax deductor app. That's an app from a separate company for the purposes of tracking your tax deductible expenses. It doesn't communicate with your XANGO back office. Let us know, though, Brett, what plans there might be in the future for communicating with my XANGO Builder a little bit more efficiently.
We are working on that, and we're working on some integrations with some of your database. We actually have a couple of really cool things that I can't even talk about right now, but they're going to transform how people use the products and how they're reminded and have it be all automated. So we're working on some data triggers from your back end where when certain things happen, it will trigger series to start going out from you automatically, just based on someone making a new order or someone ordering a certain product or whatever, so that you become even better follow up. But so we are talking to people about, we're talking about ways to make this the simplest way possible. The nature of apps is they're small pieces that do a specific function really well. That's kind of what apps do. And so there's a bunch of different disciplines that are going on, and that's why there's so many different apps. And ours is just about building relationships. This is the relationship building part of the XANGO app suite.
Fantastic. I happened to just notice a question in the chat box. It was not in the Ask a Question box. If anybody else had a question that I have not answered, because I've been through all of the ones in the box, I do see one from Vicki down here in the chat, so I'm going to answer that right now. But if anybody else has one that I can't scroll through hundreds of texts or in the chat, then put it in the Ask a Question box. I'll make sure I get it. But this one from Vicki, I'm trying to send the best day yet to a prospect. How do I send it without auto-texting? And I do know that I'm going to walk in and I'm going to show you, first of all, in the training and support library, and you go into the video library, and you go into series video library. These are the different videos. And here is the best day yet videos that we saw. These all that have the, let me just go back for a second. All these with the blue share button next to it, these are all videos that we can share. And when we simply click on it, if we want to send the first one out to somebody who's already in your contact manager, maybe somebody that you put video is available, or you don't have auto texting and you're trying to send out this. I know every time my phone goes dark, it takes a minute to come back on. I'll show this as soon as this finishes loading. But I'm going to do it that way. When we click on that little blue link, it's going to take us to email, text, social media, however we want to share that video. But is there another way that we manually, so if I enter somebody in as a best day yet and I do a project poll, I'm going to get a text in the morning that tells me to manually send the text, and then it'll automatically do that? Or do I need to go into this library and send it?
Actually, I just made changes to that this morning. So I was looking at it this morning because I had another question from Sandy about that. And so right now, if you don't have auto texting, it will send them an email instantly with the video in it. So it'll send it, and they'll
auto texting will text them the reminder to use the products, but no matter what, they're going to get auto.
Yes. Well, and now if they do the best day yet sample, they'll actually get an auto text like a minute later that says, "Hey, here's the video that explains this." So. But
if you don't have, they'll still get an email immediately.
They'll still get an email immediately. Yes, I just changed that this morning.
Okay, so while my phone's deciding whether or not it wants to re-engage this screen recording, this little blue, looks like a little letter with a little share, all you have to do is open up your video. Sandy wants me to show you how I got to it again, which I'd be happy to if it'll quit loading. But when you first go in and you get your daily success plan, and then you click the back button, you get to the list that says contacts, and then one of them said, was it library? I don't even remember now.
Yeah, it says here, just a second, I can tell you. So you go to training and support, and then it says video library.
Okay, Sandy, thank you. Everything on my phone, everybody's going to see. She's just so video library.
And then it goes, and then you go to application training video library. I'm sorry, okay. No, sorry. Series video library.
Series video library, and that's where we get all these in. And then all we have to do, any of these, which are wonderful videos, we can view them and preview them and see what they are. And then once we like them, we can send them, and we can share them by social media. So many of you have seen that I have posted these best day yet videos on Facebook, and you said, where did I get it? How did I do it? I just went into my app. I clicked on the little blue share button, and then I shared it onto my page. So you can share, you can send it on your friend's Facebook page. You can put it in a private message, share it on all the social media outlets, whatever you have in your app that's set up for. Copy to the clipboard if you have something else. Like, for example, I have, oh, look at that. I have just in my phone apps because I have an international business. So some people use Skype, some use Viber, some use WhatsApp, there's all these different things. So all of these apps, if I copy and then paste in this app, I'm able to share it through all the different things, even if there's something that that is not as part of the app. You can the clipboard and you can paste there. So let me see if I can go back to this again. No, it's just gonna play that. So I think 2 more questions came in. We're about done here. So okay.
And I just did that on my phone, and there must be something going on with your internet or something, because on my phone, I didn't know it did that. I just learned something. You just taught me something, Collie. I didn't know we had integrated that yet, but mine works.
You didn't know what?
Yeah, mine works. I didn't know it did that yet.
I
did it on my phone, and I just sent a link to myself, and it totally just popped the link over to me. It was great.
Yeah, so you can share it through any program that you use, whatever it is. I use a GPS navigation system called Waze because it's a social media, and as I'm in traffic, I was in New York the other day, or a couple months ago, I was sitting there in traffic, and I get this little notification, looks like you're sitting still. Are you in traffic? Like, yes. And it really is real time. But it shows all the other Wazers, and you can chat with them. You can map chat. So I was like map chatting with somebody. Are you local? Are you tourists? It's like it all the time. How long is it going to be like this? And then I ended up getting into a conversation, and I texted them a link to the video. It was really awesome. So this social world that we live in today, and with these tools, we can really communicate through any method whatsoever. It's great. So when you go into your contacts, so just to show you, it says training and support. On that, you have a video library, and then you can share your success story. You can email them. You can call support, which is real. And then when you click on library, you have the corporate video library, application training video library, which when you first sign up, you're going to get a link to each of these videos that teach you all the different, the application training. This is the one I always teach people because they're like, how do I do this? And you're all worried about, are you going to remember everything Brett taught you today? Just go into the application video library. If you have a question on setting up your preferences, just click on that, and it'll open a window that will walk you through with screenshots how to set up those preferences, how to set up a new contact, how to find an existing contact, and how to use your daily success plan. So don't be afraid of that. And the series video library is what's going to teach you. All of these trainings are the ones that you got when you first signed up for the app, and it takes you through teaching you how to make your list and do a three-way and all that, like Brett said. But those with the blue links, I want to share the Best Day Yet video. It's going to show me the video so I can watch it. But if I click on the little blue links to it, that's where, and I set up, because there's this little plus that says more. More, you can add your app. So I added WhatsApp because I use that with Mexico and Italy, and I added LinkedIn, I added Viber, I added some of these, and if you want to add more, you simply go. And I could share on Pinterest, I could share any of these things that I have, On Edge, all of these. And if it's not here, then that's where you can simply copy to your clipboard and do it. So, very awesome app. I think we're done here, but doggone it, people are still coming in with questions, so we're just going to, this is a really good question, actually. Explain the difference between the Best Day Yet #1 and the Best Day Yet cartoon.
Okay, great question. Best Day Yet #1 is simply, the purpose of that video is to make them, we're triggering the thought, it makes sense for me to try the Best Day Yet product. So that video ends with a friend of his that gives him the Best Day Yet, and he takes the Ignite, and he's saying, I'm starting to feel pretty good already. I don't know how the day's going to end, but that's where the video ends. And it's a way of teeing up someone saying, yeah, it makes sense for me to try this. The second video actually picks up the same story a few weeks down the road. And it says, man, a few weeks ago, my friend Max, he shared this thing with me. Wow, what a difference. And I got to work, and I did this, and I had a very productive day at work, and people at work noticed that I had more energy, and I got home, and I had more time, I had more energy with my family. And it finishes the story, and it moves people to the thought of, I'll probably want to share this. He tells the story about how he has such a great day, he decided he wanted to share it with people. And it sets up them becoming a distributor, that's what the second video does.
Great, thank you. And there's a whole lot of other questions in that look like individual stuff, so I want to refer all those people with those individual issues to the support. So once again, in your app, all you have to do is go to your training and email support. I like to email because then I can type a detailed explanation of what the issue is that I'm having, and then you can request a callback, or they can, otherwise, if you don't request a callback, how do they communicate? Will it be a notification in your app, or will it be emailed to you or texted to you?
How will they get back to you?
Yeah.
Oh, they'll call you. Yeah, they'll call you.
So, all right.
So they'll look at, or they'll email you back. They'll respond via email as well, saying, hey, here's what we've done, or here's how you solve it, or they'll call you back. That's what we do most of the time.
Great. So a lot of stuff is coming in that I handle just by clicking email support, so I'm going to defer to those. But there is one, and I don't want anyone to leave confused, so I just want to add this one, and then we'll be done. This person is saying they're confused because they thought the whole point of the app was that people would receive the auto text. So, but it's making it sound like this is something special. So the question simply here is this something that, I mean, in the future, is it going to be part of the setup? You can just click auto texting, or are you going to have to call or email in support to get it turned on, or are new people signing up today able to just do that as part of the process?
Yes, they're able to do that as part of the process, and I believe new people. Well, I think, yeah. So we're going to make it so you can get in and turn it on. We planned on just turning it on for everybody, but we had a bunch of people that didn't want to do auto text yet, and so we actually reverted back to the standard version of the software. But if you let them know right now, just drop them a note. Our support guys, it takes them about 2 seconds to move your account over to auto text.
Perfect.
So,
all right. One of this other stuff, like I said, there's one other just little question, because somebody's asking if they're signing up putting a new contact into the app. Can they do it if they only have an email or only have a phone number, or do they have to have both? So if I'm adding a new person, can I add them with just an email or just a phone?
No, they have to have an email and phone number right now.
Okay, so if they're trying to get somebody just to auto text them something and they can't put them in with just an email, would you suggest putting in your own email and changing it later just so that you can auto text them the text information?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Yeah.
Okay. All right, all the other questions I'm going to refer to customer service. Brett, what I'd really love for you to do, thank you. We went so far over what we normally do on our Super Saturdays, but wow, we had an hour's worth of questions there. If you could, I would just love for you to kind of close this up with wrapping it up in a nutshell so that there isn't any confusion about the message that you would really like to leave all of us here with today.
Well, my main message is, I am invested in your success, and as y'all are patient and stick with this and get used to using it and practicing it, if you'll do that, you'll find that over the long run you'll get more people are going to move through the process. You'll take prospects and they'll become customers. Customers will use the product, and your new distributors will have more success. And at the end of the day, if you can improve each of those numbers even slightly, it will dramatically improve your paychecks, and it's going to make it more fun. So the purpose of this app is to make it so you can focus on the fun parts of your business, of dealing with people and connecting with them and helping them solve their problems. And the stuff that's not that fun, all the follow-up and keeping track and trying to figure out what to do next, let the app do that for you, and you use it, practice it, and get used to it so that you just trust it. It just becomes a trusted tool. And so,
awesome, Brett. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the Q&A box, which Brett can't see, so I'll let you know, Brett, a lot of people in there just really, really love you. They love what you brought to the table. They love your training. They love everything teaching us about the psychology and the process, and there's links in there. I see a lot of people saying the same thing in the chat room, so I just wanted you to know there's a whole lot of people saying that and ask a question about it. We really appreciate you. What a huge asset you are to XANGO. And what I would really love to do is we're so over time that I don't want to take everybody through where to get the recordings and stuff. I'm just going to tell you Well, actually, maybe I will real quick. Just 1 second. Everybody's asking, how can I get this recording? So let me, for those of you who are new and have not been before, let me just take you through that real quick. There's a couple of places that we go to. One of them, of course, is XANGO University, which is xuworldwide.com. We go to XANGO University. As a member, you're going to have access to the library building, and in the library building, there's the faculty archives, and in here we have a video player with all of the faculty training that we do every single week. So it will be posted in this video player. The second place that we're going to post it is we will post the link to today's video on the Facebook page. So facebook.com/XANGO University. On the link for today's workshop, which is right here, we will put in the comment box, so you have to find today's workshop link on the university page, and in there in the comment we'll put the link just to the meeting burner recording that you'll be able to go back if there's somebody that was not able to get on this and you want to share this training workshop with them. The other thing is xuevents.com. This is where we go to get all of the events that are taking place. So next week the training will be posted here. We are doing weekly webinar opportunity meetings every Thursday before the weekly webinar training webinars that Ryan Anderson does or that XANGO Corporate does. So at 5:30 Pacific time, you can plug into an opportunity meeting. It is 25 minutes so that, and then promotes the weekly webinar after, so that by 6 o'clock Pacific, to get off of that call if they've got a new prospect who likes what they've heard so far in the opportunity and you want to give them a little bit of training also so they can get a that's all about, then we can click right there on the link. So those links are xuevents.com. All the other things that we do with XU Events, we have our live events here. We have our product call every Tuesday night at 6 o'clock Mountain. John and Gina Jowitz host people that share their product experiences. Of course, corporate calls are there also, the first and third Tuesdays, the weekly webinar trainings, the Get Amped calls every Saturday morning, of course, our workshop trainings, and then we've got other events that we do on a monthly basis, the $1 Million Mindset, fourth Wednesday usually, and the first and third calls on Tuesday. So that's where you can plug into all of the events and always see what's going on. Make sure if you go to facebook.com/XANGO University, you like the page. It will plug you in so that when there's a new post blog, it will post to this Facebook page as well. And if you like it, you will get an immediate notification in your notifications here. If you're like me, it's hard to get through them all. But just plug into the page and go there and check it out every single week, and you'll see what's happening on Saturday. You'll find the recordings and whatnot. So with that, I would love to final words over to Sandy Cohen. Sandy, just give us any final thoughts, comments, and close us up for the day.
Well, you've both done such an amazing job. And I just have to say this. There's a lot of people that are listening or watching that did not grow up with technology. And I remember listening to an audio cassette tape 18 years ago. And here's what the guy said. If you do not embrace technology, those who do will leave you in the dust. So even if you are a baby boomer and you type with 4 fingers and 2 need spell check, you must embrace technology if you're serious about your business, because with all that XANGO is offering us, there is no one who will not be successful. So thank you, Kali. You did an amazing job. I would have had a heart attack trying to run Meeting Burner today. And Brett, you were absolutely amazing. So thank you for all you bring to XANGO and all of us who are serious about building our businesses. And everybody have a great weekend. And I suggest you all go play with your app this afternoon and tomorrow. Have a great one, guys.
Thank you so much, Brett. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you, Kali. Thanks, Sandy.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.